Okay, so the episode starts with this weird chick coming up on Ben and Grace's house. So her name is Autumn, and she hurt and everything, looking all crazy. And apparently, she is from the experiments. She got the little burns on her head and everything. She was bust on the experiments since she was a felon or something. Yeah, she was like a felon, scammy girl type deal. So she got bust off. So they all sitting there talking to Vance, and Vance trying to figure out like, what girl, what you talking about? And they realized that the experiments have started. They've restarted. So they all standing there and all of them get all electrocuted type deal. And Vance is like, what in the world is going on? Mind you now, all this is going on. And of course, Fiona, she's not linked to none of this. She didn't set herself up on this if she didn't know, what, Fiona got nothing to do with this. Scratch that. So, of course, this kind of convinces Vance, okay, let me get a tactical unit together. Let's investigate what's going on. So they get to the building or whatever. They figure out where they at. And like I said, Ben had got the stuff at work where he went through the files, figure out the towers, which is pinging on the towers in Brooklyn, some and two other places that'll be where they done went to, since that's the tower where the last place went from. So they find it, and like I said in the last episode, it lines up with what Cal is drawing. So they go raid the building, and they don't see nothing. So mind you, they Cal, and they don't see nothing. So Cal pops up out of nowhere and is like, no, they right here. Y'all look in the right place. They right here. He points into a drawing where his nose was bleeding while he was furiously drawing that picture. His nose was bleeding, and they fell like on the bushes in the back. So they like, I mean, shit, we out here. We might as well search it. So they look and see, and lo and behold, there's a little passageway. They go in there. They find the experiments. Shoot out. And so then the people like get the stuff to blow up. They get all the gas and stuff. They blow it up. Jared gets terribly injured. Vance dies. Why they gotta kill the black man? I'm mad about it. He better be in some flashbacks or something like that. So at the end of this episode, Grace is putting Ben out. She is just over it. She's like, this wild goose chase is exhausting. I can't deal with it or you no more. Goodbye. And then we see that Autumn is indeed a double agent. She get on the phone and she's talking to Major. Well, yeah, was it Major? She's talking to them and, yeah, I'm going to get this information. Yeah, I got on over there. And they show her little trick of how she got to Ben in the next episode. And in the next episode, and then we find out how she a felon, she a scammer and all that shit. And she a little scammer. Like I said, she a scammer. So next. So next we see that they got the passengers. They got the passengers that were being experimented out of the thing, out of the little shed or whatever. And Fiona's like, okay, I got this place where I could take them. She take them, and they got them sitting all out like just kind of just isotonic. They just not replying, nothing, just stuck. And then they all just kind of seize at once. And they was like, what in the world? So Michaela goes over to one of them and touches him, and it wakes him up. And when she touches him, she has this blizzard vision. And so now Ben is wanting to go to Vance's wake because he's like, I might find something out, yada, yada, yada. And when he goes, he's leaving and he meets this podcaster that's like, yo, I got this podcast about 828. I've been investigating stuff and I got all this information. I want you to check it out, come interview. Like, we gotta solve this. Basically, we on to this, bro. We gotta solve it. So at this point, they're back at Fiona's spot, and the pilot is just very suspicious. He don't really trust her, Fiona. He thinks she done did something. I do too. And so Autumn ends up telling Ben, okay, I've talked to the major. The major is a woman. And so she seems like she's about to go legit. They show her taking the phone that she's been communicating. Taking the phone that she's been communicating with the major, throwing it in the ocean. So the guy that Mick wakes up, he claims he can't remember nothing, but once they investigate him, they find out that he used to be abusive to his wife. So Michaela kind of goes off. She's like, oh, hell, here go, a crazy person. Let me get you in check type deal. One of the guys from the plane, and I can't remember his name at the moment, but the believers, the people that are like, oh my God, 828, we pledge our allegiance to thee. The believers find him and he's realizing, like, hold up now, I can do something with this little fame, with these loyal followers or whatever. So at this point, I think Olive is coming home from climbing practice. Yeah, Olive coming home from climbing practice or something. Danny and so at this point, Dante, Danny, and Ben about to have a face-off because Ben is just kind of tired of Danny still coming around like he's still the daddy/boyfriend, husband type deal. He like, nigga, I'm home now. This is my family. So they kind of get into this and kind of push him. And then, once he get yelled at and Olive is like, yo, he been here. And then Ben realizes, dang, I'm realizing that I'm mad at you because, yeah, it's this power struggle. It's my family, but you was a daddy to my child when I couldn't be, when I was gone for 5 years. And she needs you, and Grace needs you. We need you. I mean, brother, husband this man and move on. I really want for Ben and Sanvi to get together, honestly. Their little connection is just too cute. Ben, Sanvi, and Cal look so cute. Grace, Olive, and Danny Dante look so cute. They just need to be like one of those poly families that just kind of coincide or whatever and get in where they fit in because, hey, we all see it, right? I literally said I was recording and I did. Did you not get my text?
No, I didn't.
I'm like in the middle of recording. Thank you. I'll be in like 10 minutes.
Okay.
Thank you. And I tried to avoid that. This is what I mean by not checking your text. Jesus. Husband's child. Husbands. So Michaela and Jared Julio end up messing around, and they said they were like this. You know what that's from. You in the right place. You in the right place, y'all. They said they were like that. So that happens. And then Ben ends up talking to one of Vance's co-workers about like, yo, I need you to help me. What would Vance want you to do, bro? Help your boy help us find your boy, find who did this. Like, you want him to have died in vain. You see how far he went with it. So boom, here we go. At the end of this episode, Major sends them people after Autumn. Okay, now episode 11, I took a bunch of notes on because this was an important episode for the storyline of it, because we get basically the most important person's story, which is the captain's. So basically, they show the captain and the co-captain in the. So it starts with them showing the captain and the co-captain just, casually flying the plane. That's what they do. And then this storm literally drops out of nowhere, and he can't get above it. Ain't nobody replying on the radio to tell him what to do or tell him what's going on. So he like, I gotta fly through it. I got this. So he flies through it. So it goes now to Vance interrogating him. And basically everyone blames him. And basically everybody blames him for the plane disappearing. There's so many theories. They said like he took them to a cryogenic somewhere and froze them, because they're like, people didn't age. Like, how could they have been gone for 5.5 years and they looked the exact same? They say they took him to a cryogenic lab. They just got all these little theories about what he must have did to them people. And then at the beginning they show, after he's getting interrogated, he walks out and Cal walks up to him like, hey, do you have some wings? My dad says you have, pilots always have wings. And he like, nah, son, they just got clipped. I ain't got none. My bad. Sadness. So next thing we show Ben bringing Cal home back to Grace, and she's like, oh, can you keep him tomorrow? I gotta work. He like, sure, I can keep him. And Cal like, nah, he gonna be busy helping this man from the plane. And they both sitting there like, what man from the plane? He like, I don't know. You gonna need to help some man from the plane. So Ben is like, okay, I guess. Well, we'll get Michaela to watch you then. She off tomorrow. He like, bet, yeah, Auntie Michaela, cool. So Michaela has visions still of the man. So all throughout the episode, Michaela is having visions of a man. It's not her anymore. It's a man's voice and his arm, and he's in the snow, and he's saying, find her, find her. And like all throughout the episode, she just cold as hell, just like it's regular temperature. She just in it cold. And she also sees in one of the visions that it's a picture of her. He's trying to find her. So that's why she's getting his visions. So Michaela and Jared Julio finally talk about and Jared is like, yeah, we can finally be together. We need to tell Lourdes, like, I'm ready to be back with you. This is how I was supposed to be anyway. Michaela's like, no, we cheating. I can't do this. I can't do this. Forget it ever happened. I'm sorry. You married. I'm nobody's other woman. Going back to my best friend / your wife, buddy. So eventually we get this scene where Captain Daly calls Ben, and here's the man that he has to help from the plane. Captain Daly just want to clear his name. So he gets Ben and he takes him to the simulator and is like, here is all of the notes, the files from all these different affiliate people, all these different corporations about what happened that day when we went missing. So he's looking through it and he's like, yeah, but all of it's a lie. And he's like, okay. It was all a lie. It was all a lie. They lied, you guys. Files and files, hundreds of papers of lies. So, so they get in there and he, loads up the codes from these papers and is like, all right, let's try to recreate what we dealt with at the flight. And they do it, and it's like this little bit of turbulence. And he's like, oh, okay, we can't fly through it because we can't recreate what happened. And he like, nah, we can't fly through it because this ain't what really happened. Look at the dates on them papers. He looked at the dates and he was like, yes, such 2013. He was like, see, the government didn't start hiding what was going on when we came back. They started hiding it when we went missing. So as they go through all the files and figure stuff out, they see that there was this meteorologist who was supposed to do this speaking engagement about what he felt like happened because he was right in that area where it occurred. And I can't remember what his profession was, but it was something that like, oh, I watched the sky I'm outside watching erosion. That's what it was. He was studying erosion or something like that. So something where he would be clearly outside where the sky and the land meets perfectly, and was a witness to what happened. Well, they go see him, and he was like, yeah, nah, they, swore me not to say anything. And they were like, swore or threatened. So he basically like, nah, bro, I ain't finna deal with this. So eventually he starts telling them about black lightning and how that happens and just how he thinks that what was going on that night. He ends up having these files that he knew people would come for, but he just didn't plan on it. And he's like, dang, I should have moved, bro. I should have moved. I knew this was going to happen. I didn't want to be tied up in this. Because eventually, scenes later, he winds up dead, of course. How does the people know? So next, and within all of this, Autumn comes over to Michaela's house, right? So Michaela, just retarded, no discernment at all. Take that out. So Michaela, just special, ain't got no discernment at all, and lets her in. Cal is in there just chilling and drawing. Like, why are you gonna let, like, you need to protect him. Why are you gonna let this weirdo girl in here? So she ends up getting a call while she's there, and Michaela picks up the phone talking to Ben, and they're like, oh, go to the notebook and find this. Yeah, I think this is happening. Yeah, we found the meteorologist. Yeah, he's here. Yeah, this, that, and the third. So, she sees all this, and before this happened, or while this is happening, Autumn gives her this whole sob story about, yeah, I did a little scamming back in the day, but nothing too crazy. But once I died, the people that I used to scam with scammed me, messed my all the way up. Like, I'm just trying to clear my name. Can you help me find this person? It's like Clarissa something. Help me find this person. So she like, maybe, all right. So later on, Autumn gets picked up by the feds, and they basically threaten her like, girl, you better bring us something. We ain't playing with you. And so she ends up breaking into Michaela's apartment and going through the binder, taking all these pictures of stuff to give to the major. And then she sees Cal's sketchbook, flips through it, sees a picture, kind of like, huh, has a reaction to it, snatches it out, takes it with her. So meanwhile, back at the ranch, Daly done pulled up on Fiona. He like, yeah, girl, we gonna figure something out because I think you up to something. I think you lying. You in on this too. Takes her and goes back to the flight place, and he's like about to take a plane so he can take her with him because he finds out somewhere he's listening through the system that it's gonna be like, oh, it might be some black lightning in this area that, some type of, whatever the thing was that let them go through the black lightning portal, it might be happening again over here. So he like, bet I'm gonna take her with me so I can figure this out. And Ben figures this out. He goes up there. He's trying to get in, and the guard's like, "Boy, you can't get in. You need to be granted access every day. Just because you've been here with him don't mean your stuff roll over. You need to be with him again." And he was like, "No, no, no. I think he about to steal a plane. Nah, he just doing whatever he been doing." Well, if he ain't about to steal a plane, why he not at the simulators? Why his car over there by the plane? Next thing you know, we see him in the plane with Fiona, and they having this whole thing about, he like, "You gonna tell me what happened? You wanna live, right?" And she was like, "I don't wanna die. I don't wanna die. Why you trying to die?" He like, "I ain't trying to die. I see you in 2024." So Ben and Michaela get home because that's where he been staying since Grace put him out, and they see that before Captain Daly stole the plane, he ended up sending Cal some wings because he didn't have none for him at the beginning of the episode. So they sitting there kind of discussing everything he was saying, because in the whole little diatribe before they went through the portal, he mentioned that he think Fiona is the mole, because how would Major know that they went to go see the meteorologist to go kill the meteorologist? So at first they was like, "Oh snap, she might be. We did tell her." So once they get to the apartment, they realize Michaela realizes, "Dang, I let Autumn in here. And I mentioned everything. I talked to her while I was on the phone. Like, she was here while I was on the phone with you. She might be the mole." So I was like, "Oh my God, she been with Cal all day. So if she been with Cal, she knows that he got the visions and knew about his drawings." So they realize he's in danger, and he's like, "Okay, about to go see Cal." And Grace is walking through the house like, "Cal, your dad's gonna come say goodnight." And goes up there. Cal ain't there. Episode 12. Ben gets home to the police searching, and he's like, "Oh, I told her don't call the police." Like, boy, her baby missing. Of course she's gonna call the police. So meanwhile, Michaela done went Monica on Autumn, done kicked down the doors about to smack the chick, because she like, "What you done did with my nephew? We we know you've been with him." "We know you've been with him," and they see that one of the pictures in the sketch pad is missing. Okay, scratch some of that. So yeah, Michaela went da 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 da. So then, back at the house, they telling Grace about Cal's visions finally, and how he draws things out. And she's like, "Visions?" And so they get the sketch pad and they flipping through. They like, "See, he knew about Thomas. See, he knew about this. He knew about that. He knew about Red Door Barn." And they get to the next picture, and there's a picture of them looking at the sketch pad in the room. That's like, "Oh, this is us right now." He knew we were coming here looking for him. He knew what was happening. They keep flipping, and they see him scared in this room, and cold or whatever. And then they flip and see like these landmarks and these different, roads and stuff. Like, essentially, he made them a map to get to him. So it's like, okay, we need to get out of here, but how we gonna get past all these cops? Michaela calls Jared Julio to call the cops off. Jared Julio comes in the house and was like, "False alarm, guys. The kid's with his granddad. We found out he's with his granddad. Everybody can go home." So now Ben and Grace go and head out to this cabin, because Grace was like, "Oh, I recognize this church that he drew. We've been there before." So Ben and Grace go to look for Cal. So Mick interrogates Autumn and finds out that she does indeed have a daughter. And the girl that she wants her to look up, Clarissa, is the daughter's foster mom. So once she finds this out, she convinces her that I can get you information about your daughter. I can get you to your daughter. So Michaela gets Autumn to call them off of the search for Cal. She's like, oh, I know where he at. He over here. Send them to a dummy location so that they can stop, following Ben and Grace or beating them to find Cal. So once she does this, Michaela gives her the information about where the daughter is, where they live, the people name, and everything like that, in exchange for the picture that she took from Cal's sketchbook. And the picture ain't even nothing that they need. It's just a picture of Autumn and her daughter. And she was just like, I never told anybody that I had a daughter. So for him to have drawn that was just so crazy. No, actually, it was something because once they flipped that over, it was a picture of the cabin. So she sends it to Ben and Michaela, and they realize, okay, we got this little clock tower or whatever, and so we need to be near that, and it's this way, so we need to be this way. And then they realize the little message, he left a message for Olive. She remembers, oh, we used to keep messages on this ledge. Let me check. She checks, and it's like, I left, but it ends up being a little map of which way to turn once they get to a windy road. So she sends that to them. They find the cabin from that and the cabin picture, go in there, and boom, there's Cal. So they're like, Cal, what are you doing here? He's like, I'm supposed to be here. I'm supposed to be here. I have to help. Boom, and bust this man, and he's like frostbitten to death, collapsing the floor. And Cal's like, grab my backpack. I got a, sleeping bag and first aid tools and just the whole kit and caboodle. And they like, what's going on? And he's like, I knew I had to help. The vision, let me know that I had to help. So Grace is like really kind of realizing how, dang, this what y'all been dealing with? I see why y'all been wild goose chasing around town and not keeping secrets, but wild goose chasing around town and trying to figure these things out randomly and just being real random and unpredictable. She did tell him, I don't want you to lie to me though, but I can see that I was being a bit harsh. And I'm glad because, yeah, I did not like Grace. She was doing a lot. It's like they just came up off the plane. So even if Ben was being extra, girl, give him some grace, girl. Give him some grace. No pun intended. So Michaela finally gets to the cabin, and as they're going through his stuff, she sees his coat, and she's like, wow, this is what he was wearing? This is the coat in the vision. And sees that he had a picture of her, and once Zeke, that's his name, once Zeke wakes up, they're like, what you been doing? What's been going on? He was like, yeah, I've been out here for 2 weeks, and I had this magazine clipping, and what are you doing here? You're supposed to be dead. Like, you were willing me to live, and I had to find you. She was like, yeah, I heard your voice, and I knew that you were in the blizzard. So they do some talking, and they try to investigate, and they like, how long you been here? Oh, 2 weeks. I left at the top of December. December of what year? December of what year? 2017. Well, it's 2018, so Zeke been gone somewhere for about a year, and they got to figure out where.